Set up record here. All right, if you're ready, we'll get going. First question, how pleased are you with a pair of top tens to start the playoffs?
Well, I'm happy. It's a good spot for us to be in. Going to Bristol being +7 to the good, certainly better than being -7. So I feel good about the spot that we're in. We run really strong at Bristol, and we're a top 10, top 5-ish capable team. We haven't quite put all the pieces of the puzzle together yet to figure out how to break through the victory lane, but we're close. We're knocking on the door. And so to start the playoffs with a pair of top tens, just shows, our consistency and shows what we're capable of. And now we go to Bristol, a place that we run really well at. We ran really good there back in May, and we ran pretty well there for the All-Star race as well.
How big is this 7-point lead in playoff time, or 7 points from the cut line?
It's huge. It's really huge. Our playoff system, the cars that we race around, you race around those cars every single race, within a spot or two. And so you're talking about a swing of 1 or 2 points, right? So if you run within 2 spots of a car that you're battling, and they outrun you by 2 spots in both the first stages, that's 4 points. So having that 7-point gap is a really, really big deal. It's certainly better than going in tied, or 0. So I think that's a great situation to be in. But at the same time, I feel good about where we're at. I feel good about our cars and the speed that we have, and I feel like we'll be capable of going to Bristol and running up front and scoring a fair amount of stage points and getting a good finish.
You mentioned the Food City race in May. You started second there, but you finished 29th, but you were really strong early in the early stages. Did something happen late that put you in the back?
Yeah, we had a loose wheel that put us behind, and we had to battle back from that. We got a lap back, and was racing our way back through the field up towards the front, and made contact on one of the restarts and cut down our right front tire and crashed, which put us out of the race. So certainly don't want that to happen again, and need to make sure that we put ourselves in good position all night to make sure that we don't make any mistakes.
And then your most recent trip to Bristol, you won the first stage of the All-Star Open. You were really fast in that stage, and then you finished best of the Open qualifiers at 9th. Was that a fun night for you?
Yeah, that was a good night. Felt like at certain points in the race, in the All-Star race, we were going to have a chance to win as well. Really felt like our car was really hooked up and really fast, and thought we were going to be able to march through the field. I think on the first run we drove from 20th all the way up to 4th place. So really, happy and excited about the direction with our cars and how we've run at Bristol, and looking forward to the race here coming up.
So you're familiar, you ran a lot of races there with the normal Bristol. What do you think playoff Bristol is going to be like with all of you guys bunched there, basically fighting for, 4 or 5 positions?
Yeah, I think it's going to be intense for sure. It's definitely going to be a race of battling and scrapping and fighting for every spot, every point. You're going to try and do everything you can to get every stage point, so that it puts you in a good position going into the final run of the race. So if we can outpoint the guys we're racing in the first 2 stages and go into that final stage with a 10 to 12 point cushion, that's a whole different ball game, going into the end of the race. So I feel good about what we're capable of, and I'm excited and ready to go.
What are your thoughts about having Bristol as an elimination race?
Yeah, I think it's great. From a fan's perspective, you couldn't ask for anything more than, the world's fastest half mile under the lights on a Saturday night, to put on a cutoff race for the NASCAR championship. I think it's going to be exciting, and I think it's certainly going to live up to the hype.
How do you guys get ready for Bristol now with the traction compound in play, getting ready for a setup where you have no practice? Like how does everything work together in that?
It's difficult. It really is difficult. It's a challenge because usually at Bristol, what you need to be good and competitive to run the bottom in the traction compound is not really what you need to run up high around the fence. So you really have to kind of navigate that and find a happy medium and a balance that you can be good running the bottom and good if you need to move up top.
Do you have a favorite memory of the night race as either a driver or as when you were a fan of the sport?
Yeah, one of my favorite memories as a driver running the night race was one of the first years I was at Petty's driving the 43 car, and just had an incredible night there. I battled with Carl Edwards for the lead, and real late in the race challenged with him and Ricky Stenhouse for the win, and finished third. And that was just a great night for our race team and for me personally. And it's a race at Bristol under the lights that has always stuck with me.
Who would you say is the best of the current drivers? Who's the best at Bristol now, and who is the best at Bristol all time?
Man, I would say the best at Bristol all time would have to be Rusty Wallace. I would say. I would say he's up there on the list. Of one of the guys. Jeff Gordon was always somebody you were going to have to race and try and beat. Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip. There's a bunch of them. It's hard to pick the best of all time at Bristol, but currently, it seems like Chase has been probably one of the best guys currently in the last few years. He's typically one of the guys you're going to have to race to win. He's always a top 3, top 4 guy and leading laps and running up front at Bristol. And so are the Penske cars. Brad and Joey and Blaney. Those guys are always really tough when we go to Bristol as well. So those guys, I would say, are probably the guys we're going to have to race against. And then equally our team, the Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick, and even, myself, we typically are top 5 and contending to lead laps and run up front. So I like our chances.
How cool is it going to be to race in front of fans with the playoff atmosphere at Bristol?
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so nice to have that energy. I think that's one of the things that we really miss. Walking out to your car for the start of the race and not having any fans there, it just really sucks the energy out of the event. There's just not as much hype. There's no cheering. There's no booing. It's not that event atmosphere. So to have 30,000 fans there, albeit, limited capacity for sure, it's going to be really nice to hear those cheers and to get that energy back in the stadium.
Last question. There's been some talk about NASCAR's major races. Where do you feel the night race ranks in the iconic races in NASCAR, and how important do you feel it is to the sport?
I think the night race at Bristol is so iconic, and certainly ranks extremely high in one of the NASCAR major races. I would say it's certainly in the top 5. I would say you've got Daytona, the Brickyard, the Coke 600, the Southern 500, and probably the night race at Bristol.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time today, and we'll look forward to seeing you out at the track on Saturday. And good luck.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.